From the Internet, the International Jack Benny Fan Club presents the 4th Annual Jack Benny Convention.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present a recreation from radio enthusiasts of Puget Sound, where we're going to give you a glimpse of the Bob Hope program from November of 1948 with his special guest, Jack Benny, and then we'll get to meet some of the cast and crew of the production after the presentation. So, Paul, take it away.
Well, I swan.
Me too. So do I.
How about you?
Yes, it's the new Swan Show with our great singing star, Doris Day.
Well, I swan.
A new singing favorite, Bill Farrell.
That's me.
Our guest, Jack Benny, Irene Ryan, the 4 Hits and a Miss, the new Les Brown Band.
We use Swan exclusively. How about you?
Yes, how about you?
Who, me?
My name is Robert Hopalong Hope.
And now, Bob Hope's swan's eye view of the news. Princeton, New Jersey. Hurried conferences and frantic alibis were the order of the day here as the nation's poll takers sought to explain a disastrous error in predicting the results of last week's election.
Dr. Gallup was amazed at the outcome, but he wouldn't admit he was wrong. Last night he was still peeking in the White House windows and singing, "Maybe You'll Be There." He was really unhappy. When he saw the election returns, he exclaimed, "That's the last time I take a house-to-house survey. From now on, I'm going to ask people." I called up Elmer Roper and said, "How can your predictions be so wrong?" He said, "Well, we mathematicians make a prodigious effort to ascertain by statistical and prognostication and political prestidigitations the approximate parallelisms." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Where do I get a job?" And last Tuesday night, Drew Pearson said over the radio, "I predict Dewey will be elected by 10:30. At 11 o'clock, he said, "I predict Dewey." At 12, he said, "I predict." The next morning, he said, "Ay, ay, 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 ay."
New York, New York. Phone company executives announced here today that telephones for automobiles were at long last ready and available for Mr. Average Motorist.
I had a phone put in my car last week, but the wires must be crossed. Every time I step on the starter, the spark plugs give a busy signal, and the receiver squirts a quart of hot oil in my ear. But they're a big help to the motorist. If a guy is speeding, he can look in the rear vision mirror, see a cop trailing him, call his lawyer, and the three of them can meet at the next intersection. But think what it'll be like later on when cars have telephones and television too. A guy's driving along, his wife calls up and says, "Honey, bring home a head of lettuce, some carrots, and a cucumber, and get that tomato out of your car."
Washington, D.C. The greatest ovation in the history of the nation's capital greeted President Truman as a crowd of 750,000 cheered his triumphant return to the White House.
Yes, sir. What a reception. From every window, they were throwing confetti and old cabinet members. And the world will long remember President Truman's historic words when he returned to the White House. He said, "It's okay, Bess. You can send out the laundry now." When Harry got back to the White House, he started hanging up his coat. Governor Warren stuck his head out of the closet and said, "I'll be out of your way as soon as I pack up my oranges." The Democrats did so well in that election, they're even coming out with products named after the president. They've got a new thing called the Harry Truman Popsicle. It's a frozen Republican on a stick. And with the election coming out the way it did, a lot of people had to change their plans. Now, Margaret Truman has to go back to the White House, and she had it all set to be the 4th Andrews sister. The three candidates have really changed their tune since the election. Truman's changed from the Missouri Waltz to "It's Magic," Dewey's humming "Say It Isn't So," and Wallace is singing "On a Slow Boat to China."
Announcing only 8 more days of the Swan 1949 Mercury contest. Yes, only 8 more days to win a brand new 1949 Mercury automobile. Right now, here are more winners in the Daily Mercury contest. October 19th, Mrs. Dawn Andrews of Portsmouth, Virginia.
A new 1949 Mercury.
October 20th, Mrs. B.B. Painter of San Diego, California.
A new 1949 Mercury.
October 21st, Mrs. Arlene Brewster of Topeka, Kansas.
A new 1949 Mercury.
October 22nd, duplicate winners, Mrs. Fred S. Bosinger of Denver, Colorado, and Mrs. E.P. Williamson of Honolulu.
Each win a new 1949 Mercury.
October 25th, Mrs. Alvin M. David of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A new 1949 Mercury.
Congratulations, winners. And remember, folks, there are only 8 more days to enter. Lever Brothers is giving away a Mercury a day every day until November 19th.
That's right, a Mercury a day plus $1,000 in cash awards daily. There's a new contest every day except Saturday and Sunday, and you can enter as often as you please.
And all residents of the continental United States, including Alaska and Hawaii, are eligible.
Just be sure to follow the complete rules printed on free entry blanks at your store, and be sure to include your storekeeper's name.
Now here's all you do. Just finish the following statement. I like Swan soap because, in 25 words or less. Then send a Swan soap wrapper together with your name and address to Lever's Mercury a Day contest, Post Office Box 3, New York 8, New York.
Well, I swan.
Me too.
Bye, Cracky.
Here's a gal who was selected as the Orchid Queen of the National Flower Festival, our singing orchid, Miss Doris Day.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well, I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Thank you, Doris Day. That was great. Next week, Morton Downey, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, you probably read in the papers last week that while making a picture of Paramount, Bob Hope tripped and tore a muscle in his right leg. Now let's look behind the scenes, see how an accident like this affects the motion picture industry. We take you to the production offices at Paramount, where the heads of the studio, Henry Geeksburg and Y. Free Frankman, are talking.
Say, YF,
Yes, HG.
I've been thinking. We've got a lot of money tied up in that character, Bob Hope.
Mm-hmm.
And if his leg doesn't get any better, he may never be in another Paramount picture. How could a thing like that happen to us?
Oh, I don't know. Just lucky, I guess.
But, YF, what'll we do about Hope? His leg may be broken.
Yeah. Too bad he ain't Trigger. We could just shoot him.
You know how this happened, don't you, YF? Hope was doing that boat scene, and as he tried to get on board, he slipped and fell because somebody had put grease all over the gangplank. You know, it looks like somebody might be out to get him.
Yeah. Now remember, HG, if there's an investigation, we're in this thing together.
It seemed like the easy way. And while we're on this subject, YF, we got to get rid of a lot of the actors over here. They're getting too old.
Yeah. How about that Crosby? You remember we thought we had mice in the studio? We spent $5,000 to get rid of the mice, and then we found out it was Crosby's joints doing all the squeaking.
You know, YF, I think Bing is about the same age as Hope.
Yeah, I know it. We put those two in another road picture, that road's going to have to go downhill.
Oh!
By the way, where is Hope now?
Oh, he's over in his dressing room, resting.
Oh, Doris, this pain is awful.
Oh, is it really that bad, Bob? Let me look at your leg. Oh my gosh, it's all twisted out of shape, isn't it?
That's the wrong leg.
Oh, gee, Bob, I hate to see you in such misery. Does it hurt much?
Well, I don't care about that. I just wish it had been my other knee.
Why?
Well, the knee I hurt was the one with the dimple in it. Now I'll never be able to wear my pedal pushers with the split up the side.
Bob, I just don't understand how a thing like this could happen to you. Oh, you're so strong and husky.
Am I?
Oh, yeah. Oh, and so loaded with vitality.
Honest?
Sure. Why, I always think of you as being a real He-Man.
You do?
Yes.
I have so much more than Gregory. Why should I fight it? But say, it was sure nice of you to drop in, though, Doris. I wanted to...
Hello, Doris. Hello, Mr. Hope.
Well, hello, Miss Ryan.
Hello, Miss Ryan. How do you feel today?
Well, you know me. I always try to keep my chin up, even though my arches are falling. I heard about what happened to Mr. Hope, and I thought I'd come over and cheer him up.
Well, thank you. But you see, I hurt my leg and I can't move it. It's nothing to worry about.
Oh, I don't know about that. My Uncle Julius had the same thing once, in his shoulders, and he couldn't move his arms. The doctor made him leave them in one position.
Oh, that must have been terrible.
Well, it worked out all right. When he died 2 days later, his arms were already folded on his chest.
That's nice. Portia faces life. This gal backs into it.
Bob, you should listen to Miss Ryan. She can help you. She's been through a lot of these things, you know.
Oh, yes. I've never really been all my life. That is all of it, you know. And recently, Mr. Hope, it's been much worse. Yesterday, I thought I was losing my mind. All day long, I kept hearing voices in my head.
You kept hearing voices in your head?
Yes, but I found out what it was. The battery in my hearing aid was low, and I was still getting the election returns.
Well, don't worry. Hoover made it, you know. But it was nice of you to drop in, Miss Ryan.
Well, I do hope you get better. Oh, that reminds me, before I go, I wanted to show you a picture of my Uncle Julius, the one who died.
What would I want to see a picture of him for?
Well, you might get worse. And if you don't pull through, it'll be nice if you know somebody when you get there. Keep your chin up now. Goodbye.
Well, thanks. If she ever gets married, she'll spend her honeymoon on the window of the Rexall drugstore.
Well, I have to be running along too, Bob. I promised Hy Averback I'd meet him. He's making a screen test over here.
Averback is making a screen test? You mean they've run out of talent?
Well, I think Hy will do very well in pictures because he just has so much.
Well, hello, everybody. Hello, Doris.
Oh, why, hello, Hy. Are you all ready for your screen test?
Yes, I am, Doris. I just came from the makeup department.
They didn't get your ears on straight.
At least my lobes are on the bottom. Well, Doris, how about running through that screen test with me like you promised?
Okay, Hy, hand me the script.
Okay, now, the scene we're doing takes place in a New York penthouse. We're social leaders. We're married, but we're splitting up. Now, you have the first line, and I want you to pay close attention to my diction.
Montgomery, I'm afraid that you and I are through. It's regrettable, but we can't go on.
Yes, Alice. I'm so sorry that we must split, but I'm afraid we must go our separate ways.
Don't you think you're carrying too many pounds of pressure there? Lobes on, upside down. Okay, that's all right.
Well, Montgomery, if we're parting, I insist that you give me the house.
You may have the house.
And I want the Cadillac and the 2 Mercuries.
They're yours. But there's one thing you may not have.
If you're speaking of the children, I want them.
Oh, you may have the children, my riches, my home. But I insist that you leave me one thing.
What?
That cake of Swan soap in the kitchen.
Jimmy Fiddler will give this picture 4 bubbles.
Yes, Alice, take everything. But please, please don't take that Swan. Swan is the newer, better white clothing soap. Swan never crumples like our dream castles did. No, sir, you can use Swan right down to the last smooth sliver. Why? Because Swan is made by a modern, patented process no other soap can use. A process that makes Swan better for dishes and hands. Swan is as mild as the finest Castile. It protects your hands, keeps them soft and smooth.
Oh, he's right. My hands are so soft, when I want to point at anybody, I have to starch one finger.
Oh, Alice, I can't leave you. Just think. A cake of Swan brought us together. I still love you.
And I love you.
I love you, Alice.
Oh, I love you, Monty.
And I'm engaged to the Lever brothers.
So yes, for your hands, your bath, for baby's bath, Swan is the best soap afloat.
Well, I swan.
Me too.
By cracky.
Here's our junior crooner we borrowed from the Oasis this week. That 19-year-old Bill Farrell, ladies and gentlemen.
There ain't no verse to this song, 'cause I don't want to wait a moment too long to say that I'd love to get you on a slow boat to China, all to myself alone. Get you and keep you in my arms evermore. Leave all your lovers weeping on the faraway shore. Oh, out on the briny with a moon big and shiny, melting your heart of stone. Well, I'd love to get you on a slow boat to China, all to myself alone. to China, all to myself alone. On a real slow boat, on a slow, slow boat to China.
Billy Farrell, that's my son from Cleveland. Billy Farrell, thank you very much. Sing A Slow Boat to China. Now tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to present a very different kind of thing here. See, we have a thing here. Musicians, please, no tuning while the star is on, please. Now, as I was saying, please. Hey, you, hey, Evelyn, stop with the magic violin.
I resent that.
Well, Jack Benny, ladies and gentlemen. Jack, what are you doing here?
Some surprise. We rehearsed 9 weeks already. Bob, look, I heard about your leg, and I thought I'd pay you a visit.
Well, that's swell of you, Jack. But how come you're sitting in with Les Brown's orchestra?
Well, just once I wanted to play in a band and not worry about the leader's breath taking the varnish off my violin.
Well, you don't have to worry about Les. Les hasn't been high since Petrillo picked him up to Burpin. But look, it was awfully nice of you to drop in and see me, Jack.
Well, I was sorry to hear about your accident, Bob.
Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable, but the worst of it is, whenever I hobble down the street, people keep throwing money into my hat.
They do? Gosh, how embarrassing. That's terrible. That must be awful. Bob, how much do you average a block?
Oh, it varies. But take my advice, Jack. Stay away from Beverly Hills. Nothing but Dewey buttons. Oh, but I can't get over how nice it is of you to drop in on me, Jack.
Well, Bob, that's the way it is with us troopers. You know, we show people have to stick together in these times of trouble. Why, as soon as I heard of your accident, I rushed right over here to be the first one at your side.
Jack, you came over just to help me?
Why, yes. Of course, if you buy the insurance policy I have in mind, it helps me a little too.
Jack, why are you selling insurance?
Well, you see, it's a little early for me to start unloading my line of Christmas cards.
Jack, I don't get this. You're a wealthy man. You're worth millions of dollars.
Whoops!
But you're selling insurance, huh? Well, have you got a sample policy you can show me there in your portfolio? Jack, did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear anything.
You sure you didn't hear that echo?
No, kid, this is your show.
Well, look, Jack, let's face it. This is ridiculous. You don't have to sell insurance. You're a star. They write about you in the Saturday Evening Post. You're one of the outstanding comedians in show business. One of them. You don't mind me throwing that in there, do you?
No. This is still your show.
Oh, but you're really great, Jack. People stay at home on Sundays just to listen to your radio show.
I have so much more than Fred Allen. Why should I fight it?
Say, wait a minute. That's my gag.
I'll trade you for the yodel.
What'll my sponsors say?
Well, I swan.
Me too.
Yes, sir.
By cracky.
Now, wait a minute.
That's right.
Of course.
My goodness.
Now, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
And how?
Gee whiz.
Wait a minute.
Glorioski.
You bet.
Wait a minute. Now, easy, Jack. Now, either we peddle the stuff this way, or I have to put on a pair of water wings and sell them bathtub to bathtub.
My next line is a humdinger. Bathtub to bathtub, huh? I have trouble with my sponsor, too. That's a dandy line. Thanks, Bob. I rehearsed 4 weeks for that line.
Well, we were going to give you something you could get your teeth into, but we weren't sure you'd have them with you here tonight.
You wouldn't dare say that if you were still with Pepsodent, brother. You coward.
All right, let's get back to this stuff, huh?
Yeah, now listen, you two. We'll never get through this tonight. Look it. You know, Bob. You know who has
All right, stand by, Fibber.
You know who has the very sweetest... Page 15. You know who has the sweetest job...
Look, I'm not
You
sure.
know who has the sweetest... Let me get on here.
Wait a minute.
You know who has the sweetest...
I want to play the violin yet.
No, wait a minute. Are we still on?
You know who has the sweetest job in radio? The disc jockey.
Disc
Blew that line.
jockeys. Disc
I'm sorry, let me
jockeys?
have that one again. Could you set me up again, Bob?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Are we still on?
You know who has the sweetest job in radio? The disc jockey.
Disc jockeys, huh? You mean one of those guys who says, this next record is sponsored by the Happy Hunting Ground Funeral Home, and now the orchestra plays He's a Real Gone Guy.
We haven't got time to waste on that.
Say, why don't we try? Please. Your laughs, not mine. Please. Now say, why don't we try our hand at being disc jockeys, Jack? All we have to do is make the rounds of the music shops and pick up a couple of 100 records.
Well, I don't know.
For free.
Shoot the wax to me, Max.
We'd be great as a team of disc jockeys. As they say in radio, I can hear it now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to station SLOB, the biggest on the coast. And now we present Jazzy Jack Benny and Bebop Bob in their original radio record show, Make Believe Washroom.
Hiya, gang. Hiya, Jazz. This is your old disc jockey, Bebop Bob, with another knocked out record session. It's all on wax and it's real mad. So you kids who want to get your kicks, lace up your boots and latch onto some of this frantic jive when we're going to send swinging your way. So right now, cats, I'd like to turn the mic over to a real hip character, the man who knows all the answers in the world of jazz, that solid jet, my platter partner, Jazzy Jack Benny.
Hatcha Vodiodo.
Solid, Jack. And now, before we spin our next platter for you kids, we'd like to tell you the next minute and a half of our show is being sponsored by Dr. Cap's Fast Weight Reducing Plan.
We'd like to have a word with those of you ladies who weigh over 400 pounds. Do you have the feeling that you're being followed? Well, you are. It's you.
And you men over 400 pounds, do you have a large stomach? When you get your shoe shined, do you have to take the boot black's word for it?
Why not try Dr. Cap's Fast Weight Reducing Plan?
Yes, to take off those extra pounds, try Dr. Cap's Fast Method. No diet, no pills, no injections, no exercise. Once a week, Dr. Cap's Fast comes to your house and beats you with a rubber hose. And now, we're going to play our first record, a little tune called I'm Dancing with Tears in My Eyes 'Cause the Girl in My Arms Had Onions for Dinner. Going to be played by Woody Griveness and his You Should Live So Long If You Can Find a Melody Orchestra. Hit it, Woody! Thank you, Woody. That was great.
Look, Bebop, a bunch of new releases just arrived.
Gee, there are some interesting titles. Look at this one. You used to be the cream in my coffee, but now you're just grounds for divorce.
Get a load of this one. If you were the only girl in the world and I was the only boy, I wonder who I'd play handball with at the Y.
Here's my favorite. Hair of gold, eyes of blue, lips like cherry wine. I never should have stomped on them with my bare feet. Suppose we play that one right now.
Okay, but first, a word from our sponsor.
Yes, this next record is coming to you courtesy of Slushies, the only breakfast cereal that's shot out of a water pistol.
Folks, you'll just love Slushies. They don't snap, crackle, and pop like other breakfast cereals. They just lie there and ooze.
Mothers, you'll cheer when you see the way your kids dive into a bowl of Slushies. They never come up again. Listen to what one happy user of Slushies has to say.
I've been eating Slushies for nigh on to 30 years, and I want to tell you something. I'm a-getting mighty tired.
Well, thank you, Effie Spoon of Battle Creek, Michigan. But say, Jack, what's next on the turntable?
Oh, the folks will just love this one.
Yes, sir. It's a new release that features a duet by that brilliant young Waukegan violinist, Benny Kabelski.
And that new Cleveland singing sensation, the Velvet Smog.
Okay, shall we give it a whirl?
Yeah.
Oh, east is east and west is west, and the wrong one I have chose. Let's go where they keep on wearing those frills and flowers and buttons and bows, rings and things and buttons and bows. Don't bury me in this prairie, take me where the cement grows. Let's go down to some big town where they love a gal by the cut of her clothes, and you'll stand out in buttons and bows. No practicing on my time, please. I love you in buckskin and skirts that you've homespun, but I love you longer, stronger, where your friends don't tote a gun. The bones denounced, the buckboard bounce, and that cactus hurts my toes. Let's vamoose where gals keep using those frills and satins and linens at shows, and you're all mine in buttons and bows. Thank you, Jack. Thank you very much. You've been fine. That's great, Jack. Thank you. Now, next week, ladies and gentlemen, gosh, wait a minute, Jack. We have next week, it's all over, kids. Just pack up. Next week, we have Morton Downey, ladies and gentlemen, and Jack, wait a minute. Jack, it's all over. Jack, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Thanks for the memory of the vote in 48, a chance to demonstrate when we endorsed to chart the course of our U.S. ship of state. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to pay a tribute to that fighting man from Missouri who stepped into the ring last Tuesday with the odds against him and came out the winner and still champion of the USA, President Harry S. Truman.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, is my hair fairest of them all?
It is when you use Rave cream shampoo. Rave leaves your hair so clean, so soft, so easy to manage. Easy to manage because the pure lanolin in Rave is specially blended with other important ingredients to make hair behave, even on shampoo day. Try Rave cream shampoo. R-A-Y-V-E. Rave cream shampoo. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
It's a fantastic time had by all, and I think we've got here in the studio Mr. Bill Johnson, Bob Hope himself. Bill,
hi, hello,
job.
everyone.
Wonderful job, sir. I know we got Brad Zinn and Craig Wichman coming in here in just a minute, but talk a little bit about your history playing Bob Hope. I never even asked you when we started doing this. Like, how'd you get started doing that?
Well, I was always a musical theater guy, and when I would do the madcap comedies, people would say, "Hey, you kind of resemble Bob Hope." So fast forward to about 15 years ago, I was doing a dinner show in Vegas, and a lady asked me afterwards if I'd appear at a World War II convention and pretend to be Hope. And being a fan, I thought, great. So that's how I got my start, and it has snowballed since then.
Wonderful. And I think do we have Walden Hughes here in the studio?
Hello there.
Reps? Yes, Walden, welcome. So you've been president of Reps now for a while. What got you, because I'm curious, when you tapped me to do this, why were you initially engaged in doing a Bob Hope recreation, and why this Jack Benny episode specifically?
Well, I always try to plan ahead for live events, and on my short was work with Bill. Bill and I were together on my radio show about 5 years ago, just before the pandemic. And
there's an echo.
Next time we did something live,
there's an echo going on.
have Bill involved. and we wanted to do something to honor the veterans for reps because we really wanted to do something for Veterans Day. And
Walden, I hate to stop you, but we got an echo. We got a bad echo going on.
I know.
I'm not sure what's going on. Paul, do we have any information on that?
Someone
talk to Bill.
Someone else has Zoom on or their speaker on and it's got to turn it off. Craig Wickman is with us now, and so is Bill Johnson. Got to turn off Zoom, folks.
Okay.
I'll check. I think I have it off.
Okay. Hi, Craig. How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Craig, well, while we're waiting for that to be sorted out, like how did you get involved in doing these recreations? We've talked a little bit about your history with it, and you've done a couple of them with Larry Alberts, I believe. Larry Albertson.
Well, Larry Albert, back the last Reps convention in 22. God bless Walden and the Gassman.
Stop adjusting yourself.
I need a lot of adjustment. I had known Walden and the Gassman brothers from when they used to come to Friends of Old Time Radio in Newark. Mm-hmm. And why am I having a bizarre delay? Am I looking terrible on your end?
Nope, I can see you perfectly fine on Zoom.
Then we won't worry about it. I had met them when they used to come to FOTR, and I had done several podcasts with Walden about A Christmas Carol for several Yuletides, and about Arthur Anderson, my late friend, Orson Welles, Arthur's old employer. And they graciously invited me out to Reps a couple of years ago. And yes, I worked with Larry Alberts there several times. And now, this coming one next month, we're going to do Holmes and Watson together, which will be a lot of fun. We've both done those characters about 30 years. He's done that Watson about 400 times, and it'll be fun. So that's how we got together.
Absolutely fantastic. I enjoyed watching you not just do, when we were recording, one of my favorite things was to have you do the Jack Kirkwood, because that's a character that always gets a good laugh on later date programs. Yeah,
that was a lot of fun, and kudos, Bill. Good job.
Yeah. So
yes, great working with you, Craig.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Do we have Walden back, Paul, or do we have to kill that idea?
Well, still have the. Yep, still there.
Well, there we go, Walden. All right. So, as you were saying, though, we were originally going to do this recreation as a salute to the troops for Reps, but then something interfered. What was that thing that interfered with our plans?
Well, the strike was a major factor, and a lot of people had two different feelings about that. We just decided to hold it until now.
Yeah, it was a rough decision, but we ended up having a gracious entry spot with it being a Jack Benny appearance. And Bill, one of the best memories I have of recording this last year was finally getting you and Brad in for Buttons and Bows, because it was a kind of a production in and of itself, making sure we could isolate the violin, which we ended up doing through AI. Have you been asked before to sing Bob Hope songs in that fashion, or is this one of the first times you've had to do it?
This is one of the first times for that, so that was so much fun. And
I could tell in your voice, like, you just seemed really excited to be doing it, and you've got this, like, you're matching the tonality that's in the original recording in such a beautiful way. I really appreciated that part of your performance.
Now, this is nothing against Brad, whose Jack was wonderful, but I would have loved a Jane Russell in that song with Bob. But
well, we can find a way to get Brad dressed up in that fashion. I don't know if it'll be as effective. It's kind of like when Jack played Gracie Allen on the television show. It's just like, well, I mean, this is a thing. So I would ask for all of you guys here, like, when we were doing this, what was your standout moment for recording this recreation?
I would say the standout moment was when all the comedy seemed to work even via the different feeds you were getting. So it was like a nationwide country or comedy concert.
Yeah, the energy that you and Craig had when we were doing the Swan's Eye view of the news, we did like 3 takes of it, and like I kind of meshed together all 3 into that one that we ended up seeing. But like you could feel Craig responding off of your monologue. And it was very nice to just have, like, I didn't put it in the recreation, but there are moments in the takes where you have Craig responding to the humor. And so like it felt like the announcer and the comedian working together in tandem the way they're supposed to. So it's very lovely to look at that. But also the way you guys, that scene where everybody's flubbing their lines, as original in the recording, that take that
Thank you for clarifying that for today's audiences.
Yeah,
we were recreating a screw up, not doing our own.
Yes, but there is an actual screw up of our own in the take that I chose, and I chose that for that reason. I wanted to try to blend both together. But what was amazing was when I put that thing in the editing track, all the timing matched up to where you all were jumping on each other. And that's one of the things that I first noted when we did that scene together, was how well everybody just jumped on each other all at once. Like that was one of the best parts of recording that thing, was watching you guys just nail it. Like there was no notes that day. It was one of the best like scenes I've ever gotten to like work on, was just watching you guys just jump on each other, and just, it's like watching 3 comedians get angry at each other on stage for that exact purpose. Like it's the cage is unfurled, everybody's loose. And I want to take a moment to have you guys promote what you've got coming up in the works. I know, Craig, you mentioned that you're going to be doing Holmes and Watson soon. Do you have anything else in the can?
I have a couple of Quicksilver shows, my own group here in New York, that have yet to be edited. We did a Dracula a while back, and we also did a Christmas special, which was the Norman Corwin's Plot to Overthrow Christmas, doubled with O. Henry's The Cop and the Anthem, which is a great show. So those have to be cut. So those are out there. And then Reps is going to be a lot of fun. Not only Sherlock, of course, but there's a Lincoln show, and there's a Gildersleeve, and Reps would be a lot of fun. I'd recommend to anybody that can make it, they come on out.
The way you pitched that, I thought you were saying that Abraham Lincoln was going to meet the great Gildersleeve, and I really do want to see that.
That would be fun. That would actually be a lot of fun.
Come on, Leroy. And Bill, what do you have coming up next in your life? What's going on in your world?
Actually, my next gig, as you would say, is at Palm Springs in about a week and a half at the McCallum Theater that Bob actually donated the land for and provided seed money to, doing a Legends of Palm Springs show. And that's going to be great fun, because there's Frank Ferrante is playing Groucho in that show. He's widely known in the impersonator industry, and as well as a Dean Martin, and there's a Liberace, and all kinds of fun. All these folks that lived in Palm Springs at one point.
Very cool.
And it's going to be fun. And then after the next big event I'm proud to be part of is the 1940s Ball in Boulder this summer.
Yes. You'll be in my neck of the woods. Yeah, wonderful.
With the Glenn Miller Orchestra. So don't miss that.
I'll finally get to meet Bob Hope, kind of.
Well, the ball has a theme every year, and this year's theme is a tribute to Bob Hope. So it should be just a fun night.
That's great.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, as we're wrapping up, I will point out, unfortunately, Brad Zinn didn't seem to be able to log in on here, but I will point out for folks here, there was actual fiddling by Brad. He does know how to play Love in Bloom, and he started playing it in that beginning. And so it was very nice to see the multifaceted talents of Brad extend into even the violin playing. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure that this recreation will be reappearing, because it will be playing for Reps. Because one of the reasons I took this on was to make sure that something like this could be played in salute to veterans. So it will happen eventually. But thank you both for coming aboard to talk a little bit. And thank you for being part of this recreation.
Very quickly. Talking about Brad and his multiple talents, the Sherlock Holmes piece that I'm doing next month that I'm producing has a magician as one of the main characters, a British music hall magician. A lot of people may not know that Brad is also a very experienced magician, and he'll be playing that part. So, and
fantastic!
last but not least, I was wearing my colors today. I've got my reps pin here, and let's see if Bill has any memories of this.
Oh, good heavens! Yes, indeed.
We met 40 years ago in the outdoor drama Tecumseh in Chillicothe, Ohio.
Yes.
When we were both 6.5. It was a lot of fun.
That's right. Child
Fantastic.
actors.
Thank you.